Divine Zen A. Kahiman.
My name is Danny Claire B. Mapo.
I am Ranzel Joy Buen.
My name is Jarvis Indi Humawan.
I am Jelson L. Pananigan.
My name is Troy Nicobrian Asablan.
My name is Rosa Mayantes.
I am Mariel Joy L. Tahan.
My name is Ruby Jimenez Tierney. I am Abigail Janes.
I am Jesus May Cabasagloan from Group 1.
Good day everyone, and to you also, sir. So we are the Group 1. I'm Chris Empeñado Baga, and I am the first reporter from our group. My topic is about teaching as a profession. But before we begin about that, first we will define what is teaching. So what is teaching? So from the word teaching, it is a process of disseminating broad ideas and knowledge to the learners. So let's proceed to the qualities of a teacher as a profession. Professional qualities include first, a mastery of the subject matter. So of course, when we share knowledge to the learners, we must also have enough knowledge about the certain topic we are going to discuss. Second is an understanding of the learners. So we know that every student has his or her point of view. So we have to consider their differences. And we should also get to know our learners. So next, there are 6 generally accepted criteria that are used to define a profession. The first criteria is its members have an organized body of knowledge that separates the group from all others. This means that we can define a profession when the members or affiliates of this group have inherent broad knowledge and it is shared with learners to gain new ideas, skills, and knowledge. The second criteria is it serves a great social purpose. So basically, teachers carry responsibilities with social purpose. But what are those purposes? Well, they aim to help learners out. They encourage learners to set and follow their goals and aspirations in life. And they broaden existing knowledge from prior learning. So let's proceed to the third criteria, which is there is a cooperation achieved through a professional organization. So of course, cooperation is very significant and it plays an important role of development of the teaching profession. Because if there is no cooperation, then how can we accomplish the intended purposes? So every teacher obligates to treat each student with sacred trust. So the fourth criteria is there is a formal period of preparation and a requirement for continuous growth and development. So we can also define a profession in which teachers are required to complete a defined teacher preparation program and to be devoted to continuous development of their ability to deliver their service, which is to teach students. So the fifth criteria is there is a degree of autonomy accorded the professional. So this means that teachers have opportunities to make decisions about important aspects of their work, and teachers may apply reasoned judgment and professional decision making. And let's proceed to the last criteria, which is the profession has control or influence over education standards, admissions, licensing, professional development, ethical and performance standards, and also professional discipline. This means that as a professional, teachers are governed in their professional relationships with other members, school boards, students, and the public by rules of conduct set out in the Association's Code of Professional Conduct. So that ends my report, and thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Ransel Joy Buan, and now I am discussing a topic under teaching as a profession. So my previous groupmate discusses about what is teaching as a profession. Now, moving on to my topic, I am going to discuss about teaching as a vocation or a mission. Vocation may be defined in simple words such as a work, job, or occupation. In a dictionary term, vocation means a strong feeling of suitability for a particular career or occupation. So, what is meant by vocation? What is meant by mission? Are these two related? The vocation and the mission? Teaching as a job or a mission? What is the difference? Teaching as a vocation. Vocation comes from the Latin word vocare, which means to call. Based on etymology of the word, vocation therefore means a call. So, vocation is a calling. Naa sila'y similarities duha. Vocation, calling. Isa ra na siya. It says here that vocation refers to a call to do something like to teach. Whatever is your calling, the call is always to serve. Now let's go back to our question. What is meant? So, earlier I have said that vocation is means a call. So, karon kabalo na ta that vocation is a calling, a work, or an occupation. It is always a calling to serve. If you say yes to the call and mission to teach in this life, reflect on how you are going to prepare yourself in the 4-year course teaching education.
Good day everyone, especially to you sir. I am Rosamay Entes, and this time we are going to find out what is teaching as a mission. What comes up in your mind when you hear the word mission? Mission comes from the Latin word missio, which means to send, or you have an assigned task to accomplish. So as a teacher, you may ask yourself, what is teaching to you? Is it a mission or a job? If you were doing it not only for the pay but also for service, it is a mission. If you keep on teaching out of love, it's a mission. If you are committed to teaching, even if it means letting go of other activities, then it is a mission. For a professional teacher who looks at teaching as her mission, she don't have the pwede na mentality because she will do everything to arm herself or for an excellent accomplishment. Teaching as a mission means you have a task to accomplish, and your task is to influence every child entrusted to you to become a better person.
Good day, sir. I am Princess Mika Basaglaan, and my report will be Republic Act number 9293, and my co-reporter will be Miss Claire Mapon. So, Republic Act number 9293 is an act amending certain sec of Republic Act number 7836, otherwise known as the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Section 1. Section 15 of Republic Act number 7836 is hereby amended as follows. Section 15, Qualification Requirements of Applicants. So in this act, no applicants should be able to take the examination unless he or she had been able to completely comply with all the said requirements during on the said date of filing the requirements. That follows. So in this act, as the registration and exception, the person that will stand as a teacher or as an educator, he or she should have this paper of a validity that serves as his or her proof that she or he passed the licensure examination and have this valid license and everything, even the permits and all the papers and details that talks that he and she is a licensed professional teacher, and if that said teacher failed to have this all of the requirements from the registration and up to the license, he or she can't teach. So for those takers that who failed to pass the licensure examination but their average rating doesn't lower than 5% from the passing rate, can act as a professional teacher. These para-teachers will be assigned to those areas or to those schools who have lack of teachers that will be teach on their school or university. A special permit that will be given to the para-teachers will be also undergo to the said process of eligibility with the approval of all the boards before they will be given this to the said person to act as a para-teachers, in which who they excelled and passed and gained the international recognition and has this widely board and smart knowledge and expert regarding to his or her field of specialization in teaching and has this ability to teach as a legit and professional licensed teacher.
Section 3, Section 31, Transitory Provision. So, kani siya nga section is para ni siya sa mga para-teachers nga gitagaan og special permit nga 3 and 5 years nga gi-issue sa ilaa sa Board for Professional Teachers. Pero before pa ni nga section nga mag-take effect ni siya, kay pwede siya mo expire ang gihatag sa ilaha nga special permit. Pero pwede po siya i-renew tong 3 years nila nga special permit, pero dili na pwede mo extend og 2 years. Section 4A and Section 25, ang term na DEX sa mao'y gi-term sa una in Section 20 sa pareho gihapon nga act kay gi-amend siya. So instead na DEX, which is Department of Education, Culture and Sports, kay basahon na siya as Department of Education and DepEd. Section 5, Separability Clause. So, if naamang galing mga rason nga na-section or provision ani nga batas o di ba kay mga i-apply nila sa mga provision or sa mga kinsa nga tawo or mga panghitabo na i-declare siya nga unconstitutional or invalid, so maura to siya ang invalidate. Dili maapektuhan ang kung unsa pa man tong ubang section or provision ani nga batas. So mas kung unsa ra to ang gi-consider na unconstitutional or invalid sa ato nga section or provision sa batas, maura sad to siya ang i-declared nga unconstitutional or invalid. Section 6, Repealing Clause. So, tanan nga laws, decrees, circulars, administrative orders, rules and regulations, o uban pang gi-issue nga dili consistent dito sa nakasaad sa provision ani nga batas kay buot pasabot either nabago na siya or napawalang visa siya. Section 7, effectivity. So, kani siya nga act ay mag-take effect lang ni siya upon approval, which therefore na-approve siya atong April 21, 2004. This act, which is a Consolidation Bill number 2698 and House Bill number 5411, was finally passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives on February 6, 2004 and February 7, 2004. Which was approved by Jose de Venecia Jr., Franklin M. Dirlon, Roberto P. Nazareno, Oscar G. Yabes, and our former President, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo.
Hello, so I was assigned to report about Republic Act number 7836. As I read this, in my own perspective, as a future educator, I should be licensed with possessing dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as technical and professional competence, because soon I will be or we will be as a teacher playing a great role in the community. So nganong kinahanglan man ni nga act? It is because kini nga act mandates the conduct of licensure examination for teacher, or what we call it the LET, that will help us improving the quality of teacher, quality of teaching, and the quality of students. In Republic Act number 7836, Article 1 has 4 sections that will help us dig deeper about the information of being a licensed teacher. In Section 1 to 4, that sections promotes and ensure the quality of education through passing the licensure examination. So, sa katong ingon ni Sir, ug wala pa ka kapasar sa LET, it is simply means that dili pa ka makonsider as a teacher. In Article 2, the Board of Professional Teachers. So, unsa man ang main role sa Board of Professional Teachers? Sa kong nasabtan, as I read this, it is the promotion, the development, and the teaching profession, and the supervision and regulation of licensure examination in Section 5 to 7. It is stated the responsibilities of board, mauna tong giingon ni Sir nga, sila ang mag-prepare sa rooms, sa mga takers, mag-inform when mugawas ang result, o kuban pa.
Under Article 2, Board for Professional Teachers, we have Section 8, Qualification of Board Members. There are 6. Be a citizen and a resident of the Philippines, at least 30 years of age. A degree holder. It can be a Bachelor of Arts degree or a Bachelor of Science in Education degree, or more preferably if you are a holder of Master's or Doctorate's degree from a university which is recognized by the Philippine government. With license, a professional teacher with license, and an active professional teacher teaching for at least 10 years, not be an official or member of the faculty. Section 9, Compensation of the Board. Who will be compensated? The chairman, the vice chairman, and the members of the board will be compensated based on or in accordance with the number of examinees or candidates. Section 10, Supervision of the board and custodian of its records. The board will be supervised by the commission, and all of its records, including the examination records, the investigations involving professional teachers, shall be kept by the commission. It will be in custody of the commission. Section 11, Secretariat and Support Services. The PRC, or the Professional Regulation Commission, will provide the Secretariat and Support Services for the board. Section 12, Removal of a board member. The President of the Philippines have the power to remove any of the board member, including the chairman, as long as there is a dishonorable conduct or incompetence or professionalism inside the office. Under Article 3, Examination and Registration. Section 13, Examination, Registration, and License required. So after you graduate, you will take a board examination, which will be conducted by the board. And after you pass, you will be given the certificate of registration and a license, which are all required to be allowed to practice teaching. Section 14, Scope of Examination. The elementary and secondary school teachers are separate. For the elementary school teacher, there are two parts, the general education and the professional education. And for the secondary school teachers, there are three parts, professional education, general education, and field of specialization. Section 15, qualification requirements of applicants. The applicants will take the exam shall comply all of the requirements before on the filing date for the applications. Section 16, report of the results of the examination. Within 120 days, the board shall report all the ratings of the applicants to the PRC to seek approval. Section 17, issuance of certificate of registration and professional license. So after the professional teacher will be given a certificate of registration and the name will be enrolled on the roster. The his teaching career has already begun. This professional license shall be in its full effect and full force until it is withdrawn, suspended, or revoked in accordance with the law. And of course, the license will allow the licensee to teach until the expiration of the validity of the license. Section 18, oath before practice. Every registrant, every licensee will take a professional oath before practice teaching. Section 19, periodic merit examination of teachers. This is an oral or written examination for teachers once in every 5 years. This is to encourage every teacher for their professional growth and professional development. Section 20, failure to pass the merit examination. A professional teacher failed to pass the merit examination for the first time shall be given a second opportunity. If for the second time he or she still fails to pass the merit examination, the professional teacher shall take a DECS accredited programs before retaking the exam. However, failure to pass this examination, the teacher should not be this should not be the reason for a teacher to be demoted.
Good day to each and everyone. Since this is my given part or given task of which I'm going to report or discuss the Presidential Decree number 1006. Now, when we talk about Presidential Decree, the general or the overall thought of this is to give value to the teachers or the government assigned a recognition for them to be called as a professional teachers. We are very much informed that teachers play a vital role in our society, or even in every country. They are very much important. They're very much necessary for the development of the country. That is why there is a constitution provides that all educational institutions shall be under their supervision. That its purpose is to have a complete and updated system for education so that there will be a progressive and productive society. And the supervisory function is to ensure educational institutions to teach students have passion in our society or in our country and to know their duties as a citizen. We knew very well that institutions absolutely relied upon their teachers. Something that an institution will be malfunctioned and the system will not be able to run if the teachers or serve as a core in the institutions are not working or not doing their part as a teachers. Teachers are the ones who facilitate and shape their students. That in the long run, there will be development in our country. As far as I know, although teachers require a number of years to study, it is not yet to be considered as professional. But because of their vital role in nation building, they are recognized as a professional teachers. Now let's move to the sections of the Presidential Decree 1001. Let's go to the section 1 first, the title, of which this decree aims to professionalizing the teaching. Section 2, Declaration of Policy. of which in this portion, the rule of the government is to give their primary attention or concern to teacher education because they seek enrichment not just to our knowledge but also to the development of our country or our environment. Under section 3, it is the definition of terms, of which we are to define 3 terms or 3 words. These are teaching, teachers, and board. Now, let's first define what is teaching. It refers to the profession primarily concerned with classroom instruction. It is the process of sharing information from teacher to students. Teachers. When we talk about teachers, it refers to all persons who engage in teaching, or to those people who facilitate their students and teach them as well. And board refers to the National Board for Teachers. Section 4, it is the creation of the National Board for Teachers, where board examinations are created, composed, or made by co-chairman and the members. Section 5, powers and duties. The board shall have the following powers and duties. First, appoint a set of examiners for examination and prepare the contents of the board examination for teachers. Second, fix the place and dates for examination and appoint supervisors and room examiners. And the third, lastly, there is to revoke, replacement, reissue for the professional teacher certificate.
Section 13 states that reissuance of revoked certificates and replacement of lost certificates. If you lost your certificates or you misplaced your license, yes, you can have another one. You can have a duplicate. But then, it is a long time process. To replace them, you need to go for a lawyer for the affidavit of law. You need to pay again. Section 14, the registration by reciprocity. The applicant shall submit the competent and exclusive documentary evidence confirmed by the DFA or the Department of Foreign Affairs showing that his country existing law permits citizens of the Philippines to practice teaching professions under the rule and restrictions of governing. So you need to do you all need to do is to reevaluate it. You will check by the DFA, the DepEd, and all to check that your documents were all valid. So also the Philippines government also considered whether your country accepting Filipino graduate or Filipino teachers. Section 15, Prohibition. No person shall engage in teaching or an act as a teacher unless he is a holder of professional teaching certificates or is considered a professional teacher under this decree. So simple as that. Under the Presidential Decree 1006, you don't have the right to teach unless you have the certificate or you are a holder of a certificate for teaching. Next is Section 16, the penal provision. Section 16 states that any person who shall practice the teaching without the valid professional teaching certificate or a license, or any person who shall present his or her own false certificate shall be penalized. A fine not less than 1,000 nor more than 5,000, with an imprisonment of not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years, or both such fine and imprisonments at the direction of the court. Next is the Section 17, repealing clause. All acts, decrees, executive orders, administrative orders, rules and regulations, or parts thereof inconsistent with the provisions of this decree are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. And Section 18, Separability Clause. In case any provision of this decree or any portions thereof is declared petitional by the competent court by provision shall not be effective thereby. Section 19. The effectivity. This decree shall take effect January 1, 1977, and it is signed by Ferdinand E. Marcos, the former President of the Philippines. And that would be all, the Presidential Decree 1006. Thank you.
Section 6. Qualification requirements for exam applicants. No applicant shall be admitted to take the examination unless, on the date of the filing of the application, he or she has complied with the following requirements, which is A. Except for those who have taught as defined herein for at least 5 years in Philippine schools not exclusively organized for foreign nationals during the period of validity of this decree. The applicant must be a citizen of the Philippines. B is that he has a good moral character. C is that he is free from any physical and or mental defect which may prevent him from providing good service. And D is that he possesses the following minimum educational qualifications. So number 1 are for those teachers in kindergarten and elementary. They should have bachelor's degree in elementary education, BSE Ed or equivalent. For number 2 are for those teachers of secondary schools. They should have bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent in major and minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts or sciences with at least 18 units in professional education. And as for number 3 are for the teachers of secondary vocational and 2-year technical courses. They should have bachelor's degree in the field of specialization with also at least 18 units in professional education. Section 7. Appointment of examiners. The board shall appoint a set of examiners for each examination recognized by the Teacher Education Authority, and their names shall not be disclosed until after the release of the test results. They shall each receive as compensation in the amount of at least 5 pesos for each examination, as may be determined by the board, but in any case, each examiner shall not receive more than 18 pesos per examination. Any examiner who is in the service of the government will receive the remuneration provided herein in addition to his or her salary. Section 8. Scope of the exam. The examination shall consist of written examinations, the scope of which shall be determined by the board, taking into account the teaching plan of the legal schools developed in the Philippines. Section 9. Test ratings. In order for a candidate to be considered to have successfully passed the examinations, he or she must have obtained an overall average for at least 70% in all subjects, with no rating of less than 50% in any subject. Section 10. Report test results. Examiners must report the ratings obtained by each candidate to the board within 150 days after the last day of the exam, unless the latter is extended. Section 11. Insurance of certificates. Teachers who have passed the exams provided by the Civil Service Commission or jointly by the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture shall be deemed to have passed the board exams for teachers. The board may treat the rating certificates as certificates of eligibility or issue a completely new certificate in teachers' registration and payment of corresponding fees. Section 12. Registration. The Civil Service Commission shall, as a branch of the board, register the holders of the professional teacher certificate whose registration will certify that the registrant is entitled to all the rights and privileges of a professional teacher, up to and unless the certificate is suspended or cancelled by the board for fair reason.